welcome to another episode of the Quotes and Mirrors podcast. I am Tyrell James.
And I am Uncommonterry. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We appreciate y'all tuning in, listening, watching, however you're actually getting this content. We're staying away from the numbers again, right?
Episode 37.
I'm glad you know. You write it down somewhere? Is that what happened?
No, I just know what the last one was. Like every time I set it up, I always go back and like, what was the last one? I go back and I look at the last one. I was like, oh, and since I know how to count, like I know what comes after 36. So it just works out that way.
I feel like that was an unnecessary shot. It's a little early in the show.
I was just bigging me up. I'm not the math guy. I'm the English guy.
It's a little early in the show. You know what I mean? A little early in the show to be taking shots. But no point. I mean, no problem. All right, cool. Welcome. This is Quotes and Mirrors. What we do here is we take a quote and we reflect upon that quote, as the name says. All right, but we don't assume any level of understanding. All right, so we're going to explain it every single time. We do go back and forth choosing the quotes. Light Skin chose the quote last week, and you laugh like they don't know who Light Skin is.
I'm not light skinned. You just dark as hell. You just make me look light skinned. I'm brown skinned.
You're light skinned. There's not even a light on in your room right now. All right. But we do go back and forth. He chose a quote last week, which was an interesting one. How some people the world is better when some people die. I need to reiterate. Is it iter and neither here nor there? That was his quote, y'all. That was directly from the mind of Tyrell James, by the way.
Yep.
It's a very eerie place, that place, the mind.
The people that know me know that my brain is a scary place. So
yeah, a little bit. So, but this one is not from either him nor I. As a matter of fact, we're not even for real certain it's from Leon Festinger. I actually heard it on a looking at the Instagram. Somebody else told me that they heard it from their mentor, and Tyrell, being as thorough as he is, he went and tried to find out exactly who said it. And it is, if nothing else, it is based on a philosophy by Leon Festinger.
It is weird hearing you call me Tyrell, but go ahead.
Well, I guess because you introduce yourself as Tyrell.
I know. It's just weird hearing you say that. That's
understood. I won't say it again.
Yeah, don't do it.
Nonetheless, tonight's quote is: "People can't behave beyond what they believe." So, I heard this quote, and it's one of those things that I think it goes without saying, and then somebody says it, and you realize, that actually, that it was actually being executed. Like, it was just interesting to hear somebody say it. And so we're going to get into it. I am curious as to what your thoughts are about behavior versus belief. If your behavior can contradict your belief, right? Mm-hmm. I think that's really where we're gonna get busy. So I'd like to know. So what do you feel about that? What do you feel about this quote? People can't behave beyond what they believe.
So when I first heard this, when you first said this quote last week, my immediate thought was, yes, they can, because people do it all the time. And the first thing that came to my mind, the first example I had was people like on social media talking tough. Like, you people get in these stupid Facebook fights or whatever, right? And they're talking tough. But if you see them face to face, they're not about any of that stuff that they were talking about.
Right.
But that was my first thought. That was my first thought, because like you're behaving in a way that you don't believe that you are, daggone well that you ain't that tough. So you're behaving in a way that is not in alignment with your beliefs. That was my first thought, right?
Okay.
But then I started doing my research. Now, when I read this thing, when I pulled this up, it says the idea that people can't behave beyond what they believe is most closely associated with the psychological theory of cognitive dissonance developed by psychologist Leon Festinger,
Right.
who argued that people who strive to maintain consistency between their beliefs and actions, and when there's a discrepancy, they experience mental discomfort and will often adjust their beliefs or behaviors to align them. And then I said, okay, now it's starting to make a little more sense. I'll move on. So, some of the key points about cognitive dissonance. The central concept: when someone acts in a way that contradicts their beliefs, it creates a mental tension called cognitive dissonance. And
Mhm.
then it went into an example. And the example: if someone believes that smoking is harmful but continues to smoke, they might downplay the health risks to reduce cognitive dissonance. And then I was like, oh, I get it. People are lying to themselves.
Definitely lying to themselves, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
Definitely lying to themselves. And so now I think I definitely leaned immediately towards I forget exactly how you put it, but where um you said something about adjusting your belief to match your action.
Hmm.
I think that's the way you put it. But I leaned immediately to kind of like a self accountability and adjusting my action to match my belief. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um, because when I first saw this, it really made me think about it. Like I can't behave beyond what I believe, and it kind of like it made me think about when you're you're in pursuit of a goal of any sort. Like if you don't actually believe that you can achieve it, then I feel like your actions, it's obvious in your actions that you don't actually believe. You know what I mean? Like maybe you ain't training as hard or you're not studying as hard. And remember, because you know what, we've had a conversation similar to this years ago when I made the statement that anything you don't have, you don't want bad enough. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that, and I
Yeah.
disagreed with you then.
You know what? I think we had that as a quote on here one time.
I don't remember. We
Early.
may have. We may have.
Early, because I think it was
Mhm.
the example you used was about somebody wanting to be in a relationship with somebody else, and like I was, I went way left with it. It was like, because obviously, if they gonna go as far as kidnapping somebody, you got to get into some craziness.
I almost spilled my drink out, yo. Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, you got to go into some craziness. But if that's really what you want, then you got to do what you got to do. You know what I
Oh,
mean? So, but it made me think about that. Like when like it's obvious because I'm trying to get better. I don't want to say certain things. I'm trying to speak a difference into existence, right?
hmm.
But it immediately just made me want to. It made me think about, okay, maybe I don't believe in, say, my creativity because my behavior hasn't hasn't spoken to a belief in my ability to create or in my actual ideas. We've spoken on this show in reference to having some ideas that would be like $1 million ideas, right? But my behavior contradicts it because as it stands right now, I am not a millionaire, right? I have not pushed it. I have not followed through on it. I'm still working on one thing right now, but I haven't so it really made me think to now let me adjust my behavior. Like it made me ask myself, do I really believe it? You know what I mean? Do I really believe these ideas to be good enough for to produce anything? Because if I did, why not? Why not act on it? Why not execute if I truly believed? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Go ahead, you look like your mind, look like your wheels turning.
They are my wills. Yo, I've been thinking about this quote. I did something with this quote that I don't typically do,
Yeah, I
which
know.
is
With the
which is
research.
yeah. Well, it's been a while. I used to research before we took our break, but then I was like, I like being sporadic, just going off the top of the
Yeah.
head.
I
But
prefer it to be nice and authentic too. But
yeah,
actually, you still being authentic. But go ahead.
right. But I think that I wanted to. I wanted to do some research. I wanted to know the origin of this, and I wanted to make sure that I was speaking from a place of where this originated, right?
Okay.
Which I'm glad I did, because my initial take was going to be off.
Yeah, I mean
So,
it normally is though. But go ahead.
yeah. Yo, you just reminded me. I forgot that I brought this with me today. Look. So,
Nobody appreciates that. Somebody's mother is watching. Okay. All
no,
right.
maybe mine.
Maybe so. Y'all excuse him. He's angry and light skinned, but he smiles about it, right? So it's a little confusing. But go ahead.
But I was so yeah, my brain's been all over the place with this one, man. And because I'm conflicted. I go back and forth between, it says people can't behave beyond what they believe.
Right.
But if you start lying to yourself to try to convince yourself, no, wait, don't get me wrong. I know that you can tell yourself something enough until you start to believe it, right?
Yeah.
But I'm talking about before you get to that point. So before you get to that point where you believe something, you're continuously telling yourself a lie, and you're behaving based off of the lie. But it's not what you really believe. It's a lie. You don't believe that. It's like going back to the example. Matter of fact, let me bring this example back up. So the example is, if someone believes smoking is harmful but continues to smoke, they might downplay the health risks to reduce cognitive dissonance. Now, here's the thing, and cognitive dissonance is really, I know, I got you. Cognitive dissonance. So cognitive dissonance is like when you have like conflicting beliefs.
Okay.
Right. So like when your actions and your thoughts are not in alignment. So if you are smoking, if you know the health risks associated with smoking, and you try to downplay, put it this way. You know that you can get cancer from smoking, right? Well, if you try to downplay it and say, it's okay if I smoke, I'm not going to get cancer. You're lying to yourself. I mean, now you may not get cancer. I'm sorry, let me change that.
Yeah, because are you
can't
really?
get cancer from smoking? So now you're trying to downplay it, but you're lying to yourself. It's not what you believe. You don't believe that. You're lying to yourself. You don't believe that lie. So you are acting in a way that is beyond what you believe.
Okay, so what evidence do you have that you don't believe that? Now, I'm not saying it's stupid. I mean, it's not stupid. I'm not saying evidence doesn't speak to otherwise, right? But what evidence do you have that the individual doesn't actually believe that? They could, I mean, because mind you, saying that smoking doesn't cause cancer is not the same thing as believing I won't get cancer by smoking. Like it's kind of I mean, it's one of your favorite words is arrogant for you to think that you're going to be the one that doesn't get the cancer while you just steadily smoking. You know what I mean? But it's not the same thing as saying smoking doesn't cause cancer.
Okay, so but I want to change it to that.
You want to change it to what?
I want to change it to the person saying smoking doesn't cause cancer.
Why? Why do you want to change
Because and the reason I change it to that is because I have to change it to a lie. A person saying I'm not going to get cancer they're not lying. They're not lying. They may be inaccurate if for some reason they end up getting cancer. It's not like they knew they were going to get cancer and said I'm not going to get cancer, so it's not a lie. There is there's this assumption, maybe even false hope, if they end up getting cancer. But I have to change that so that it turns it into a lie. So the lie now is smoking doesn't cause cancer. I know, because in this example it says a person who knows the health risks. So if you know that the health risk is that you could get cancer from smoking, but you try to downplay it to make it seem like it's okay. The downplay now is, well, I'm not going to get, well, no, smoking won't cause cancer. That's the downplay, but it's also a lie. It's a lie. But this person is not behaving beyond what they believe because they believe that you can get cancer. They're just trying to tell themselves what they need to tell themselves to make themselves okay with the decision that they're making.
But okay, but if you make it the statement that smoking doesn't cause cancer versus I don't believe I'm going to get cancer as I smoke, then now it's no longer people behaving beyond what they believe. It's behaving beyond what they know. I guess essentially, right? And
Or
so you can't really. I mean, you can't.
they're behaving beyond what they're trying to convince themselves of.
Well, but they're trying to convince themselves because they believe it, right?
No, 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 they want to believe it.
All right,
Because
but
you know daggone well that cancer, I mean that smoking cigarettes can cause cancer. You know that.
yeah, but I don't know that it will cause cancer. It can, but not necessarily will, which means there's space for me to believe again, however arrogant, however ignorant, as a matter of fact, there's
Mhm.
space for me to believe that I'm not gonna be the one to get it. It ain't gonna hit me. I don't believe it. Plain and simple. So
Right.
as a result, you know, I'm moving about my day, just puffing, just doing my thing, right?
So so if I can convince myself that I won't get cancer, then ignorance is bliss.
Yo, that ain't even ignorance because you know that smoking cigarettes can cause cancer, and that's only ignorance in the way of you ignoring the actual truth of the situation. But then you get into the space where you really have to discuss the power of the mind, right?
Mhm.
Because like I remember when I went to basic training and we got off the bus in basic training and it's hot. It's in South Carolina. We in South Carolina. It's October, but it feel like I'm in a desert in Ethiopia. So it's hot. I can barely stand. Like T is in front of me. Like, dude, what's going on? Because I'm behind him,
Mhm.
just just laying. Because I can't even. It, dude, I just had no energy, and I kind of got it together, and I stood up, and a drill sergeant says, "Think cold thoughts." What? Think cold thoughts. That's all you got to do. Put your mind on ice. Put your mind on ice. The ice is melting, son. It's 102 degrees out. You know what I mean? But I didn't get to where I could put my mind on ice. But what I did is I changed my mind because when I was for real feeling faint. I
Mhm.
could barely stand up straight on my own until I convinced that I don't have any other choice. I have no other choice but to stand on my own right now. I'm in
Mhm.
basic training. What I'm gonna do? I got no other choice. So I had to flip it, right? And because mind you, when I didn't believe that I could hold myself up, I most certainly could not. But when I had decided, all right, this is the only way this is gonna work, to where I believed the only way this is gonna happen is for me to stand on my own, then not only was I able to stand up on my own, but I'm also marching, right? But before I believed that I could do it, I couldn't behave as if that's what was happening. You know what I'm saying? And so you have to this, and that's the thing. I guess even for me, on a more of a positive perspective, just thinking about how I need to change my behavior because I'm like, wow, do I really? And I'm speaking for real in reference to my ideas. Do I really believe that these ideas can make money? And I did, and I actually dissected it. I do believe that the ideas can make money. What I don't believe, which is why I haven't behaved in line with the belief in the idea, is lacking the belief in me to carry out the idea. And so that is where I'm like, oh, okay, okay, because I thought I'm defying this statement because I do believe in these ideas.
Mhm.
But then I realized, oh, it was me and my execution that I don't believe in, which is why I'm not behaving in the same way, with the same ambition, with the same positivity that I speak of, that these ideas are completely motivated by or wrapped in. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I don't look at that the same way because with your example, when you were
Hmm.
in basic training, what you were going through, yo, you remember when we did the quote, um, adversity doesn't build character, it reveals it.
Yeah, I do remember that.
So, okay, so same concept there. You were in the midst of something where adversity was revealing your character. It was something that was already inside of you. It was something that you already possessed. So because it was something that you already possessed, you already had that belief, but you needed to be faced with the situation that was going to force you to know exactly what the situation. I'm sorry to you had to be forced with a situation in order for you to know exactly what it is that was inside of you that you could bring out of you to get you through that. That was self-preservation, that was mind over matter, but that was things that was already inside of you. So but what I'm so there was no lie there. There was no lie. You weren't behaving beyond what you believe. Your thoughts and your thoughts and your actions were in alignment at that point. It's just that you were faced with something that made you question that because you were feeling faint, you were hot, you were like, "Oh my gosh, am I going to pass out?" Your drill sergeant says, "Hey, think cold thoughts," and all of a sudden, self-preservation kicks in, mind over matter kicks in, and with everything that you have inside of you, all of that stuff starts to kick in at that point because it's what was already inside of you. Now it's not so hard to believe it when it's already inside of you, but sometimes you have to be faced with something in order for that to come out.
Right, but understand the statement is not talking about a misalignment. It's talking about being in direct alignment, saying that you meant that you cannot behave unless you believe. Right? That's what it's saying. So I was 100% in alignment, but what happened is my belief changed, thereby my behavior changed. Because initially I didn't believe I could stand, and I couldn't.
Yeah, but the statement also is connected directly to cognitive dissonance, which is a conflicting belief.
But this is saying, okay, so we're gonna have to go back to that cognitive dissonance thing because I honestly I need to look like cognitive versus dissonance by itself and then see how they come together and what that marriage actually produces because I'm not well versed enough. I ain't gonna lie. I don't care who listens. I don't have that mind right now. I ain't, I don't. So because the statement is talking about being in alignment, and as a matter of fact, it's saying that you cannot right have the conflict, and
And I
so
see it as being in a lie
but why?
because because you're lying to yourself. Like you are lying to yourself yo, you didn't have to lie to yourself about what you were going through in that moment in basic training because it was something that was inside of you. It was something that you just had to bring out. But for instance, the person who was smoking cigarettes back in that example, they are lying to themselves, trying to convince themselves that cigarettes ain't that bad.
But I don't
You
think they're
didn't have to
lying to
lie to yourself.
themselves. But they're not lying to themselves. They're not lying to themselves about the effect of cigarettes. They're lying to themselves. I won't say. Let me back up. They're not lying to themselves about the effect of cigarettes. They're telling. They're telling themselves their truth about what they believe.
Oh
about
boy.
about what they believe the cigarette is going to do to them. Right? That's the truth. Now, I'm with you in that. Like the safer bet is that yeah, dude, cancer is on its way. All right, you have put it in the cart and hit checkout, and sooner or later you're gonna check out for the cancer that you purchased. That's for sure. You know what I mean? But the statement is saying that the two have to that your behavior and your belief are in alignment. Now, you looked at a little more at the cognitive dissonance. If you can unpack that a little further, and we can actually look that up because cognitive. The definition of cognitive is the mental action or process of acquiring knowledge and understanding through thought, experience, and the senses. Okay. A perception or sensation. Okay. So now, dissonance. Let me see if I spelled dissonance correctly.
It's a Dissonan.
Anybody ask you nothing?
My bad. I want a spelling bee. I get excited when I get to spell words.
Hold on, it was off of one spelling bee.
What?
You only won one spelling bee?
I was only in one spelling bee.
Oh, one for one. You're 100% successful as far as
Exactly.
spelling bees. Okay.
I ain't need nothing else. All I needed was that one spelling bee. That was good.
Yo, Q told us about that, by the way, and how y'all had to do a spelling bee so that Just could get a trophy.
Exactly, because I won the spelling bee. Quint won his spelling bee, but Just didn't give a damn about his. He did not care. Yo. He did not care. Yo.
Oh wow. Okay, so attention or clash resulting from the combination of two disharmonious or unsuitable elements. Attention or clash. Okay, so we go from a clashing perception. This is essentially what cognitive dissonance is. Okay, so how again is this related to cognitive dissonance?
Because your beliefs and your actions are not in alignment.
And that okay, so cognitive dissonance is when your belief and your actions are not in alignment.
Yeah, you have two conflicting ideas, two conflicting thoughts, and so whatever ideas based off of your actions is not in alignment with whatever ideas that you possess.
Okay, gotcha.
You
So
so
okay, but cognitive dissonance is not a, how can I say, like that's not the desired state of mind, obviously.
right.
Right. And so okay, so that's
But,
where
but,
this
but that's the direct connection to this quote, and that's why I keep going back to that.
But this quote comes from it not being a desired state, right?
Right.
It's saying that you need to be in alignment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So all right. Not that we're necessarily trying to disprove one way or the other, but I guess I can't. I'm curious. I'm trying to think of what would be maybe a firsthand reference to cognitive dissonance where I had the two conflicting thoughts, like truly, where what I believed and how I was behaving was completely conflicting. What's up?
I got one, but I gotta tell you later.
You guys about me?
About us.
Oh. All right. Well, I mean, come on, man. Now the people are gonna be looking for it. We can't talk about it for real.
No.
All right. Well, I mean, now I'm anxious too. Let's go ahead and stop the show so that we can talk. For real. Now, and don't forget either. Don't forget.
I'm not going to forget.
I really want to know. But okay, so can we think of something that where we can actually talk about for real? Because see, I think if I really think about it, it's just like when I know, like I could tell you, I could say I'm not being proud about an issue, but I don't know about other people. I feel pride well up inside of me when I'm speaking based on pride, or if I'm plain and simple, when I'm speaking based on pride, I can feel it. You know what I mean? And I think, I can feel it, I believe it, I'm acting it out, I'm projecting it, so I can't think of it, and I really would like to. So that's why I really can't wait to hear what you got to say, because I really would like to think of an instance in which I am suffering, if you will, from cognitive dissonance. Because if I'm being honest with myself,
there was no suffering.
Oh, are you talking about what are you?
I'll tell you after the show is over.
All right, you're not talking about Old Faithful, are you? Yo, why did I know that? Oh man. Okay.
We sorry, y'all.
Yeah, but man, we can't. You're right. We can't bust that open.
We can't. We can't.
But point taken. Yeah, but I have to. So I have to. I really have. I mean, I wish we could get into that a little bit further, but you know,
Mhm.
we had to change the names and dates.
Right. I'm trying to figure out a way to kind of touch on that without touching on that. Like I don't know how to though. I
All
don't know
right.
how to. I don't know how to.
Well, okay. So, but again, so okay. Have you ever had a situation? Let me say that. Can you think of a situation where you definitely acted differently than you believe? Because that's what's kind of that when it says people can't,
Mhm.
right? Like if I acted differently, if I acted against, um, how could I say? If I did opposite of what I thought was right, I guess technically that's acting beyond what I believe. But
Mhm.
I actually know, you know what I'm saying? But I actually know that that's not the best decision. I'm doing it anyway,
Mhm.
but I know that's not the best decision.
But
You know
see,
what I
I
mean?
think this goes another step. It's not just doing beyond what you believe. It's also trying to convince yourself, or you're lying to yourself to convince you that what you are doing is okay.
So okay,
So it doesn't just stop it doing, because I mean, yeah, I think that's so it's one thing to act in a way that you like, I'm doing something, I know I'm wrong, I know I shouldn't be doing this, right?
right.
You're just accepting that it's wrong. But in this case, according to this quote and cognitive dissonance, you're trying to convince yourself, you're giving yourself all of the excuses and reasons in the world why what you're doing is right. You're looking for justification. That's really what this is just looking for justification.
I'm not saying I don't. How was it looking for justification? I mean, I think this is really just being honest. As a matter of fact, I think justification is absolutely unnecessary here. If because you're just being honest about the truth of the thing is like how could you truly you know act like I go beyond what you believe? How are you actually acting that out?
Exactly.
What?
Exactly. Joe, good night.
I'm not seeing. I mean, for me, it's still definitely on the more positive side of things, where I really had to say, okay, I need to change my actions because I actually do believe that I'm better than this. You know what I mean? I
Mhm.
do believe that I'm better than this. So there's more that I can do. There's more that I can touch. There's further that I can go. 100%. But like, okay, like if you're in a job that you don't particularly dig, like I think that's gonna be evident. You're just not going to if you don't believe this is where I need to be. Matter of fact, let's say you got two people. You got one person that doesn't believe they actually deserve the position, and you
Mhm.
got the other person that absolutely believes that they deserve the position. You're saying that, or are you saying that those two people are going to perform the same? One of them is absolutely going to excel because he believes wholeheartedly, this is what I came to do. This is my destiny. The other one doesn't believe it, so he's not going to. So that's gonna be evident. It's not
Um,
going to.
not necessarily.
Okay.
They may get into that position and decide, I know I don't deserve this, but I'm gonna do everything that I can not to lose it.
Yeah, but that's still not the same thing because at this point, when you do everything that you can, it's because you believe if you don't, you're gonna lose it. Versus the other person believing flat out, this is me. This is what I'm meant to do. I think that's going to reflect very differently as far as the comparison is concerned. But definitely the belief is going to be evident in the way that they execute. I think 100%.
In that scenario, I agree with you. Yeah, I do. But I think that what it is I think it's a case by case basis, because when it goes back to the whole cigarette situation, I take the opposite side.
I mean, but if they don't believe, if the person, not that they don't believe cigarettes will cause cancer, essentially they are believing that they're not going to get cancer, at least not today. It ain't taking me out today, so they smoke.
They are lying to themselves. No, they're trying to convince themselves that they are going to be the one that it doesn't happen to.
Yeah, because they don't believe that they're the one that's going to happen to.
No, they believe that it could happen, which is why they have to convince themselves otherwise.
No, but they
and
know,
and that's the thing. And so they become, at that point, they become so wise that they become otherwise.
What did you just say to me?
I said, and that could be next week's quote too. They become so wise that they become otherwise.
Is that the same thing as like overstand?
No.
All right. Well, I mean, what in the hip hop are we talking about?
No, what in the Uncle Freddie? I got that from him. Okay.
You got that? You're quoting Uncle Freddie now? Is that what you're doing? The same man where I asked, how did you go cold turkey? And he said, well, if a sandwich could do it.
And the same man who, when he ran a stop sign, said, I will stop twice at the next one.
Twice at the
next
one.
Yes.
That's it.
I'm quoting him.
Jesus. Well, so I don't get the whole so wise that they are otherwise.
I wonder how fast these edibles work. How much time we got? All right.
What did you eat? Was it a gummy?
It was a brownie or a cookie, a brookie, whatever it is. I don't know.
You gotta be. Well, I guess if you've been taking it for a little while, because I just the one time I had one of them joints and I was actually hungry, and then but I got ate enough, like, because I was hungry and I had no idea.
Oh, you ate the edibles because you were hungry.
Yeah, I ate a couple cookies. It was like 3 of them, and they was delicious. And then after the fact, I was like, I feel like a stuffed animal. So, I'm just saying, if you a vet with it, handle your business. I said, nah, this is not where I need to be. But anyway, I think we're rolling out of the lane here as far as the quote is concerned. I think I just choose to be more on the positive side. If I can absolutely, because this is along the lines of anything you put your mind to, you can do.
Or it's along the lines of what you said to me for years. The worst person you can lie to is yourself. Well, you told me that when I was like 18. I mean,
that still rings true though.
Yeah. and that's what they're doing here. They are lying to themselves.
I don't think they're lying to themselves, man.
I think they're lying to themselves because they're trying to convince themselves that they are trying to make excuses for remaining where they are. Like sometimes it's like, I'm comfortable where I am. No. I may not even be all that comfortable, but
okay.
I am okay. Okay. The person who is an alcoholic.
Okay.
I don't want to use that.
Okay.
I don't know exactly where I want to go with this. Anyway, but somebody who is constantly making bad decisions about something, and they know that the decisions that they're making is wrong, right?
Okay.
So they have to convince themselves, they have to tell themselves whatever they have to make themselves okay with these bad decisions. So if I'm okay, let's go back to alcohol. Okay. I'm drinking alcohol and I'm drinking it excessively, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know it's wrong. I know I shouldn't be doing this. But I'm stressed out. So that makes it okay. And I got to deal with a job that I don't like. So that makes it okay. And I got to deal with a nagging wife or a nagging husband and nagging kids and all of this, whatever. So that makes it okay. I'm trying to justify my nonsense so that I can sit in shit. I don't want to move from this place. I want to continue doing exactly what it is that I'm doing. So I'm going to tell myself whatever it is that I got to tell myself so that I can stay where I am. This is about having absolutely no movement, no growth, no progress. I want to be here and I'll need to make this as comfortable as possible. I know that I'm making my bed and that I have to lie in it, right? But as ugly as the spreading may be, and as ugly as this pillowcase may be, I still have to make this as comfortable as possible so that I can convince myself that I am laying in something that's not so ugly.
So hold on. So what line are you drawing between convincing yourself and believing?
The lie. The line is a lie.
But if you've convinced yourself, now you believe.
Yeah, because I do believe in the power of suggestion, and I believe in the power of self-suggestion, and I believe that you can convince yourself that you can tell yourself something enough times that you start to believe it.
Right. So this is you are kind of speaking from a versus when this is it's not an opposition, it's a progressive situation. I convince myself, now I believe, thereby this is how I behave.
I believe that okay, so I believe that you can tell yourself when you tell yourself a lie so much that you start to believe it. I think what happens is, and I could be wrong, but I doubt it. Only because what's today, March 3rd? I'm
It
normally
is.
wrong like once a month, and I don't feel like it's time yet. So so
All right.
I
Well, I think that might be case in point right there because you don't believe that was arrogant. However,
but so I believe that when you tell yourself a lie enough to the point that you start believing it, it's more so that you have convinced yourself to forget the truth than you have convinced yourself to believe the lie. So by process of elimination, there's only one thing here for me to believe, which is the lie. But I've convinced myself to forget the truth. But if you sit with the right psychologist, the right therapist, the right boy, I'm gonna sound crazy when I say this.
you sound crazy now. This is already way too conditional, by the way. Go
Uh,
ahead.
like crazy, Tyrell, interchangeable, whatever. I don't care. Like, so, you know, so you sit with the right person and allow them to start peeling back layers and allow them to start digging down into that subconscious and stirring things up, the truth is going to come up. And then you're going to have to deal with the truth. You're going to have to look in the mirror at some point. Yo, here's the thing. You can walk by that mirror and not look at it as often as you want. If you can be the ugliest person in the world, I am not looking in this mirror. As long as I walk by this mirror and I don't look at it, I can convince myself that I am gorgeous. But the right person can convince you to look in that mirror, and then you face with the truth, with an ugly truth. Because the truth is still the truth. The
Why?
truth is
Why
the
had to be an ugly?
I mean, so,
That's funny.
I mean, because the opposite of it is a pretty lie. You tell yourself pretty lies to try to hide the ugly truth.
Oh my God, you're such a rapper. we should get a bell like or some type of sound effect like say when you say something like that it'd be like bars, you know what I mean? Something along those lines. But I'm saying, I'm sorry, dude, if you convince yourself then now you believe. There's still that progression. You convince yourself, now you believe, thereby you behave. That's just the truth of it. Even if you're convincing yourself of a lie, you can't behave based on that lie until you believe that lie. I like the shirt, by the way.
Thank you, man. I made this Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah, just made it Saturday, man. I got a lot more I'm about to make of these. I got a bunch of designs I've been just sitting on, and I just need to go ahead and make these shirts. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Don't lose yourself, by the way.
You mean my thoughts?
Yeah.
You know, it don't take much. It's gone.
See?
It's gone.
See? Your train of thought. You need to take like a bus of thought rather than a train of thought, right?
It's all gonna crash, man.
I'm just saying it moves a little slower. There's more frequent stops. You know what I mean? Like I think definitely I recommend a bus of thought because a train of thought is moving way too quickly.
Doesn't matter. They all are going to get caught in a brainstorm. That's the problem.
Bars. I think I'm just gonna start doing it. We don't even need the sound effect. I'm just gonna start doing it. Bars.
Yo, you just hit the mute button.
Yeah, I did on purpose because I didn't want you to hear what I just said.
Did you do it on purpose again?
I did.
Okay. Got you. Oh, you weren't talking to me.
I wasn't. I just had a
Got
delivery.
you. my bad. Got you. Took me a second. Put two and two together. I got you. All right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I have converted to non-alcoholic beer again.
Really?
Yep.
Cool. I've converted to alcoholic wine.
What were you drinking beforehand?
Water.
You and Jesus.
Me and Jesus. Yo. I was like, hey, Jesus, I got some water right here. What can you do with this? Oh, appreciate that, dog.
Yo, the art would be in being able to do it mid-pour. You know what I mean? If it leave 1 cup of water and splash into the glass of wine, yo, that would be crazy. All right, he could do it though. He could do it. Won't he do it? I don't know. But he could. Anyway, all right. I think we having some fun with this one, just as to be expected.
Right.
So yeah. So I still am of the belief that you can't behave beyond what you believe, even if you convince yourself of a lie. Still that progression. You have to, once you convince yourself, now you believe it, thereby you behave. Boom. I don't want to hear no more about it. What's next week's quote?
I don't know, man. I got a list of stuff here. So I got one. There was another original quote, but I don't know if I want to do this one.
Well, I like the original ones the most.
Yeah, but see, I like the other ones just because I'll explain to you later why I like the unoriginal quotes. You know, there's a method to the madness with that.
Okay.
So I got one here. Sticks and stones may break your bones. That's it. That's the quote. So that's
That sounds like you're gonna need another one in the hopper. That might be a short show.
I don't know. I don't know if you know where I'm going with that one.
I don't know. So maybe that's what what will extend it.
Yeah. Then there was everybody condones hate speech. Ish from the Joe Budden podcast said this on one of their podcasts. Everybody condones hate speech.
Wait a minute. This might be common knowledge to some people, but we're not gonna breeze past that you just said somebody's name was Ish.
That's his nickname. That ain't his real name.
I know ain't nobody mama said that. But still, to answer to that is a little bug.
I don't know. Somebody's mama could do that. Somebody named their child Quantavious. It's possible.
Quantavious sound like he in the NFL.
Yeah, Quantavious also sound like he shoot your head off.
But is he in the NFL? Oh, you wasn't talking about a real person.
Yeah, I'm talking about a real person, just not a real football player.
Oh, you know somebody named Quantavious?
I don't know this dude. I just know that his name is Quantavious.
Are we talking about a fictional character or not?
Nah, we're talking about a person.
So you met Quantavious?
I didn't meet him. I just know he exists. That's it.
Why do you know he exists?
Because stuff.
Say again?
Because of stuff.
Because of stuff.
Yeah.
I appreciate you elaborating.
Listen, man, I know people that do illegal things with people, and you know they tell me stuff. So I know.
I mean, look,
stuff.
The name Quantavious is not a crime.
It's not. It's not. Just associated with it. So, the other quote that I was thinking about. Well, I had two other ones, and actually, I wanted to throw all of these out there. I want you to tell me which one you would like to do. So another one.
That would be the same thing as me choosing the quote.
Right?
Yeah, you lazy, light-skinned mute button. And I love you with all my heart.
I agree with everything you just said too. Yo,
you got to pick the quote.
I know, and the other two. Well, let me talk my way through it then. The other two: a drunk tongue speaks a sober mind.
Oh,
and then happy wife, happy life.
Okay, we can definitely talk about happy wife, happy life. All right, we can unpack that one. I don't even think my wife would believe, but I mean believes along those lines. It's such a poison that's been poured out into the world. We're not gonna get into it, but I think.
Actually, I don't know if we should do that because I think we both gonna agree on that one. If you call that poison, then we gonna agree on that one.
Well, we don't have to have an opposition. We could just be exposing the world to the truth of the situation.
Yeah, but you remember what happened the last time we agreed on a quote?
That's right.
That show lasted 3 minutes and 47 seconds.
Well, you know what? We're gonna have to learn how to communicate to some great extent when we agree.
The crazy thing is, the only time we ever disagree is on this show.
It really is, right?
We don't ever disagree outside of this.
It really is. I don't know, but you know what? It's very interesting, by the way, because our thinking is so aligned in every other space. And for some reason, when we come here, we don't even plan to disagree. You know what I mean?
Right.
We just be like, nah, I don't think that's the way that goes. Well, I think it is the way that goes. And then the show goes on, and then we hang up, and we be like, yo, you know what? It might actually was a good point. Good point. Just you know. But yeah, I don't know what it is, but I love it. I love it because I learned some stuff about you, some stuff that I didn't know. You know. You know, I learned some stuff that I taught you, and then you throw back at me. I don't appreciate that, by the way.
I love. Oh my gosh, I love that. That's one of my favorite things to do, for real. That's one of my favorite things.
Yo, I mean, sometimes it could be a benefit. My father tell me all the time, like when I tell him stuff that he told me, he's like, I don't even remember, because he's 70. He's like, I don't remember everything that I told you. So sometimes he benefits from what he told me because it was deposited and stored, so now it can be revisited.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Your godson popped up on me today. Him and his girlfriend, they surprised me.
oh, word?
Yeah. So we sitting there, we talking, and I was telling her certain things. I was just telling her. I was trying to tell her embarrassing stories about him growing up. I was showing pictures and videos and stuff, whatever. But the boys like me, it's hard to embarrass them. So,
Yeah.
but he's like, but then he started talking about some of the lessons and things that I taught him. And I love when he does that, because it's like, yo, you were listening. And he's saying things that I started saying to him when he was like 5 and 6 years old, and he's, he'll be 20 next month. So
Yeah.
I'm like, for him to say these things, man, and he's such a leader. He has such an amazing head on his shoulders, man. I'm so proud of that kid, man. Really
Yeah,
am.
it's dope. It's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you find out that and this is the thing, just as parents, especially as fathers, right? Because your ego, oftentimes you find out that you're co-parenting with your ego when you plant a seed and you want to see the fruit right now.
Mm-hmm.
That don't happen. You know what I mean? You gotta let it take root, and then because I know there's lessons that I didn't learn. I mean, I was taught, but I didn't actually learn till I was 25, 30 years old.
Right.
You know what I mean? And there's still lessons that I'm learning now.
Right.
That again, there was the part, because you know how somebody could say something to you, but somebody could say something to you 10 years ago, and your wife say it to you now, and all of a sudden it is different now. You know what I'm saying?
It's like, sometimes people will say things and they're planting seeds, and just your experiences in life, they serve as the water to those seeds.
Right.
And then one day that tree grows, and it's like a wisdom tree,
That was nicely put there, sir.
I'm deep as shit.
So it's interesting that you say that, because you know the origin of that word.
What word? Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Store high in transit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it being
it's not deep, it's high.
Yeah. So, you just made me think about that. It's strange that I never forget that, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know why. I don't know the origin of the MF though. I mean, I think I guess it's fairly self-explanatory.
Exactly.
All right.
Speaking of which, hold on, before we go real quick,
we gotta pick a quote anyway.
Huh?
You gotta pick a quote real quick anyway.
Yeah, I decided on one. All right. But I just wanted to let you know I called somebody a wombat the other day. For those of y'all that don't know what a wombat is, it's an acronym for waste of money, brains, and time. Yep. And man, I'm so thankful to you for teaching me that, man. Just because there's so many people that applies to. So many wombats.
Yo,
man.
I haven't heard wombat in a long time.
Man, you may not have come across a wombat.
Oh no, I know I know a wombat right now. I just didn't think to call him that. 100%. Wow. Anyway.
Yeah, but the quote. So I did decide the quote for next week is going to be "Happy wife, happy life."
Okay, we're gonna get into it.
Yeah,
we might have to pull in the guest.
I got the perfect guest. Man, Gladiator Wilkes. I'm telling you. Oh my gosh.
Yo, I mean, it'd be cool. We haven't done it before. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Right.
that'd be cool. So rap to him.
But I think we should bring a woman in for this.
Who's woman? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm about to say. You got to get off of here and go to bed.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to go to sleep and wake up.
For real.
So, nah.
Right. That part right there, the and wake up part right there, very valuable. Very
Right.
valuable. So, all right. So this was episode 37, you said, right?
Yep, 37.
I'm gonna keep track.
I'm not.
I'm not.
I'm not either. Yeah.
I'm not gonna remember.
Yeah, I just know to go back and look at the previous one.
Yeah, man. But that means y'all got 36 other episodes that y'all can be watching or listening to, right?
Right.
So, go ahead back, go to YouTube, Google Quotes and Mirrors, go to Spotify. I guess you don't go to Spotify and Google Quotes and Mirrors or YouTube and Google Quotes and Mirrors. Man, that didn't even used to be a word 20 years ago. All right. But
hey,
you go.
And pretty soon, don't even worry about Spotify. Y'all can go to Relic Radio.
Oh, word? That's coming?
Yes.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
All right. I did not know that.
Yes.
Appreciate you telling me on the air.
Yo, the crazy thing is I've owned this radio station since August. I just haven't done anything yet. But this week, we getting things up and running. So.
Yeah, I'll repeat my last. Okay. Anyway, we're going to wrap this up. I am Uncommonterry.
And I am Tyrell James. And on that note, and I quote, peace out.